Yeah.
You get pros.
Yes. Okay, we'll start tonight's City of Olivet Community or Planning and Community Design Commission for April 16th, 2026 to order. Madam Secretary, you please call the roll.
Robert Jergiel,
Here.
Jen and Nat, Sampson, Tim Spiegelglass,
Present.
Sam Wallach,
Present.
Felicia Ford,
Absent.
Laura Ragsdale,
Absent.
and myself, Petrie Powell.
Let it also be known that our city council liaison, Brian Lewis, is in attendance, as well as our staff liaisons, Carlos Trejo, Olivet's Planning Community Development Department's director, Dawn Doty, senior planner, and unfortunately, Jack is sick today, so he's not going to be in attendance. So, all right. Thank you for everybody in attendance. We appreciate it. And just so you know, we kind of follow the agenda program and kind of go line by line. So you'll see kind of the different new business items that are up, and we'll just kind of proceed in order. Unless, Carlos, there's a special change that we need to make.
No, Chairman.
Okay, good. We do have time in the beginning for public comments. These are for items that aren't on the agenda. So if somebody's in attendance that wants to speak about something that's not on the agenda, now would be well, it'll be happening soon. So after I go over this introduction, we do ask that any comments, from the public be limited to no more than 3 minutes to be respectful of everybody's time and to get everybody's opinions heard. Doesn't look like that's going to be a problem tonight, but sometimes if there's a big issue, we have a very crowded room. So, and if you're online, Carlos, do we have anybody online?
No, sir.
Okay, well, we'll skip that online. There's some other special procedures for people that are online that wish to speak. So, okay. That being said, Carlos, did I miss anything?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll move on to public comments. Is there anybody in the audience that has a public comment that's not related to an agenda item? Seeing none and seeing nobody online, we'll move on to new business. And it's item A, 465 Bowood Court.
Chairman, we received a petition to install an in-ground pool along with the associated flat work. In the review, a couple of things came up that restricted administrative authorization of a permit. So they had to come to the commission. Those two things is that the proposed flat work exceeds 5% of the lot area. And again, a lot can have up to 10% of accessory structures, including flat area on the property. Staff is limited up to 5% of that lot area. Anything in excess of that has to come to the commission. In addition to that, that flat work extends over the side property line here on the top, or what would be the south of the property. And again, flat work is permitted to extend into the side yard setbacks and rear yard setbacks. However, it's subject to plan commission
I think
approval.
Did you say property line or the setback?
Setbacks.
Setback. Okay,
Divided,
just making sure.
And so in both cases, again, typical permit, we would have done a review administratively. In doing so, two things in the code restrict us from authorizing the improvements. One is the amount of flat work over the 5%, but under the 10% maximum. And then the flat work here on the top side extends into that setback area. And as a precaution, administratively, we're not authorized to issue a permit unless the commission has an opportunity to review. Why do we review these things? Is again, it's not an exception from the code, but it's a unique circumstance, and we rely on the commission to provide us some feedback to make sure that mitigation is incorporated into the plan to authorize or permit whether it's an excess flat area or the flat work extending into a setback that an adjacent property owner might seem critical. In this case, it requires site plan review. And again, our goal here is like, did they do something above and beyond code to mitigate the impact this would have on the neighbor's property if this was built fully into the setback areas? And they have. They have incorporated a drain tile system and the pool flat work here. You can see it here. And then it goes into a detention area here. And then there's a landscape bed and a swell that runs some of the surface water down to the direction of the street in there. And then just to place on the record, they've also had discussions with the neighbor. And we
Okay.
also sent out notices
Right.
in there. So in this case, we find that the petitioner has recognized what they're doing and going into those setback areas beyond of our administrative code processes. And in doing so, coming to the commission, illustrating how they're trying to mitigate any potential impacts, especially to the south of the property.
Great.
The petitioners here, I'd be glad to answer any specific questions. There are some details in your packet. They did a really nice cross-section, not the cross-section of the basin, but to kind of show the distance from the property line and how that grade works. In there.
Can I ask a question about the percentages? The 5%, when you look at the 5 or 10%, whichever, does that include existing flat work that's there?
Yes.
Okay, so they have to account for the existing patio in that 5%. Okay, I just wanted to make sure
Yes.
that that was the case.
But it doesn't include the driveway because driveways are.
That is correct. Driveways.
Yeah.
What if the driveway was around the back?
It happens, but we kind of view it in terms of what is the distinction. Usually there'll be a crack in,
Yeah.
the separation between the turnaround and somebody's patio,
Yeah.
or we'll look at where those garage doors. It does happen, but it's rare.
Would that come before us then because of that?
It would be if they were contesting what we calculated as,
Okay.
hey, this is not
Didn't be
driveway.
counted. Okay.
Or if it exceeds the
Okay.
5%,
Correct.
it
Right.
would always come
Yes.
to us. Yeah. Any, go ahead, Tim.
And I don't know, do they need to give us details of the fence or it just says code compliant fence on there?
No, it's not necessary. I mean, they'll have to provide the code compliant fence.
Okay, okay.
in there.
And then just on Petry's thing, is the pool, what are we considering the
That's
pool
right.
now of flat work? Is that not counted at all? Is that correct?
The actual pool.
The actual pool?
Correct. The pool is treated in a different calculation.
Okay.
And that doesn't count against the 5% for flat work. However, the accumulation of all accessory structures on the property can't exceed 10%. So in that case, the pool would be counted in there. For stormwater purposes, we only count 50% of that pool footprint.
And when
It's a
you're
little
talking
complicated.
about the accessory structure, just because I know this is going to be brought up later on, is that just the pool with the water in it, or is that with the concrete around it too as well?
It's the extent of that the concrete around the perimeter too.
Okay, okay.
That would be so the pool will have, I'm going to call it a lip around the perimeter. We count that as part of the pool.
Okay.
And then the flat work that connects to that lip, we count it as patio or, concrete flat work.
Okay, so like the apron that goes around it is counted as the flat work.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, do we want to hear from the petitioner or do we need to? No?
No.
Okay.
Just for the record, Carlos, they talked to the neighbors said no.
Yes, I'll let them come up.
Yeah.
If it's okay, the property
Yeah.
owners here.
Yeah, come up there. And when you do come up, you have to turn the microphone on. So, and then state your name and address for the record.
Sarah Burkhart, 465 Bowood Court. Yes, so we have spoken with the neighbors on the south side and on the west side, and then on the southwest corner of us as well. I feel like probably the biggest concern, at least for us as homeowners, was child safety. So, we are doing an automatic cover so we can keep it closed, not only for our kids, but other kids in the neighborhood, and our neighbors have kids. So we wanted to make sure that was really clear to them whenever we first let them know we're even talking to pool builders, is that we would keep that foremost in mind. And then we have spoken with the neighbors on the west side of us. I think their biggest concern was just having privacy between our properties, which is also our concern. So we've talked about, the evergreen trees and kind of the landscaping that we want to do to preserve that and enhance that. And then the neighbors on the southwest kind of diagonal back corner from us, they also have a pool and everything was good there too. So,
Great.
but yeah, we very much value our relationship with our neighbors.
That's great. We appreciate you reaching out to them and
Yeah.
talking to them. That always makes it easier.
Yes, yes.
Good, good. Any other questions or comments from the petitioner? No, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Any other further discussion? Seeing none, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Right, so,
Does somebody need a second it?
yes, or yeah, well, you have to make a motion to. Yeah, you have to make.
You have to,
make the
you have to
motion.
read it first,
Yeah.
then I can second.
Yeah,
Is that right, Carlos? Do I read it first and then someone seconds it?
I've been doing this for 12
Okay.
years.
All right. Motion to authorize approval of the petition for site plan and community design review for a new pool and pool decking at 465 Bowood Court as presented in the memorandum for the Department of Community Development dated April 16th, 2026, subject to any staff conditions noted therein.
Motion's been made by Sam Wallach. Do I hear a second?
Second.
And seconded by Tim Spiegelglass. Carlos, you please call the vote.
Commissioner Spiegelglass,
Approve.
Commissioner Powell,
Approve.
Commissioner Wallach,
Approved.
Commissioner Jurgell,
Approved.
and the motion passes unanimously. Okay, the next step in the process would be the permitting process, and I don't recall if they already applied for the permit or not. But the next step would be getting that application. Okay, sounds great. Appreciate it. All right.
Thank you
guys.
very much.
Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate it. Good, good, good.
You had an easy one.
Good, good, good. All right, we'll move on, since business is done now, you know. We'll move on to item B, 9504 Old Bonham Road. Carlos?
Petitioner, this is a new home that was approved back in November of 2024 that is coming up to completion. It was a lot split off of Old Bonham on the south side between Bowood and then I forgot the other street's name with the L. Anyway, so Jacqueline Court, thank you. Sorry for that. And there, so anyway, so the house is pretty much almost complete. They're doing the finished exterior work, and a inquiry came in. This was the backyard. That was as part of the approved plan set, and you can see the slope there. You can see the house and the detention pit here and the pop-up emitter here. What they would like to do, and because this permit is still active, is to install 2 retaining walls in the backyard. One would be 3 and the other would be 5 feet in height. Again, the pit stays in the same location. What this does, again, it allows for the leveling of the upper part of the property and then the tiering of the remainder. From a staff perspective, or at least from my perspective, is then what happens is instead of that slope going straight down to the neighbor, it starts to break up, and by breaking that up, then you slow down velocity,
Yeah, yeah.
and velocity is really the major cause of erosion. So I think this is an improvement to what was initially proposed. However, because this permit is still not closed and is still pendent on what the commission had approved, we felt best to bring it back to the commission as an amendment. And
The
there's
surface water, is it being directed on either side, or is it going to flow over top?
it flows over top. It'll have those little drainage points, but most of that grade kind of it's strange because it all goes down. I mean, it just
Yeah.
continues to hit down. So it's, it'll have the drainage lines in here that will go out probably towards Bowood, if I'm correct, underneath the wall point, but the surface water or the surface runoff will still continue to go to that direction, except instead of it going uninterrupted, now it has a tier system.
Okay.
Then there'll be some additional landscaping that they're proposing in between too. So that'll also help mitigate some of that stormwater.
Yeah.
Not that the stormwater was a problem. You remember already authorized and approved was just a straight system going down.
But it always slows things down.
Absolutely. Be glad to answer any questions, and we do have the developer and his contractor.
Any questions? Tim?
Do you need a fence on that?
It'll be interesting because it does exceed the 3 feet. So one is the landscaping may mitigate this one here. I'm not sure here that it probably will be required.
I don't think you need it for 3 feet.
Not for 3 feet, I don't think.
For our purposes, if it is a walkable grassy area and you have a drop of more than 3 feet, you are required to put a guardrail. We consider the grassy surface area
Yeah.
a walkable path. It may not be concrete or no, but the worst extreme is that somebody's running out at night and doesn't know about the tier differences and could get hurt. So you can either mitigate that through landscaping, which a lot of property owners prefer, or you put some type of railing, which could include a fence
Yeah.
in there. And that is treated differently between communities in there. I'll note that if you go down Warson Road, you'll see those two houses off of not Lisa, but Cherry
Mhm.
Lane. Those two houses are in Creve Coeur, and Creve Coeur doesn't require
Right. Big drive.
fencing in there. So,
Yeah.
and again, our purpose is we think that it becomes a hazard.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Any other further discussions with staff? Seeing none, will the petitioner like to come up? Remember to state your name and address for the record and turn that on.
Evening, Bob Wilmering. I'm with Boulevard Custom Homes. And I've got a buyer for the house that's really pushing for an improvement in her yard to level it up. And those walls will help us direct the water from flowing directly south, more in the southwest area,
Good,
which is the perfect spot for the water to go at this point. So
good.
anyway,
Any discussion on, that whole issue with the guardrails or not or
I,
railings?
I have not spoken with my buyer. She's working with the landscaper. I know there's a fence in the plan.
Yeah,
They've got some issues to work out with the logistics because it's a corner lot. So I know there's going to be fencing erected. I don't know the details about it. Nor do I even have a handle on the landscaping. That's why this gentleman came up as well. He's a contractor that's working both with me and the client to get things straightened out.
okay. Well, we just also wanted to make sure that it's not a surprise,
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Is the property to the east, you were the developer for it as well?
I sold that off to another builder.
Oh, okay. We don't know though. Do they have the same issue? Did they put in a wall there?
No,
No, they
a
don't.
little different in terms of how that elevates.
Okay, that was what my question was.
Good question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The other thing I'll note, Chairman, and for the commission to note, the property lines, here's that wall. The property line's over here.
Oh,
Okay.
So it's
Yeah.
there's still
plenty of room.
it's not up to
Okay,
the neighbor.
that's good.
Okay, good. Anybody else have any questions for the petitioner?
No, but I want to tell you, you guys are doing an excellent job building
Thank
that
you.
house. It's fast, like it's gone on and I've watched it over and over and it's
Thank you.
a good
Yeah.
development to say the least for all of it.
They're both turned out to be very nice homes.
Exactly. Totally agree.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other further? No. Sorry, Don. Any other further discussion on this? Seeing none, do I hear a petition? Sam?
I'll make a motion to approve an amendment to the November 21st, 2024 petition for community design and concept stormwater management review for a new single-family home at 9504 Old Bonham Road as presented in the memorandum from the Department of Planning and Community Development dated April 16th, 2026, subject to any staff conditions noted therein.
Motion's been made by Sam Wallach. Do I hear a second?
Second,
And seconded by Tim Spiegelglass. Carlos, will you please call the vote?
Commissioner Spiegelglass,
approve.
Commissioner Powell,
Approve.
Commissioner Wallach,
Approved.
Commissioner Jurgel.
Approved.
The motion passes unanimously 4-0.
Thank you.
The
guys.
next step in the
Appreciate it.
process would be getting the
Thank you, guys.
permit.
Thank you. Okay, we'll then move on to item C, which is 9339 Olive Boulevard, Taco Bell.
Chairman, I had a phone discussion with the operators of Taco Bell. They're not the property manager or the store manager, but the owner operators that have the franchise here and all of that. And they had inquired about extending their hours. They were aware that when the Taco Bell, when the original building was approved back in the 86, it was proposed as a racks. And it was authorized to have a drive-through. And then in the conditions, it notes that the operating hours are from 6 to 11. Taco Bell acquired it, it looks like, in 1993. They had to go back to the commission. They just requested the change in ownership information, but there was no change in the operating hours. So it was still at 6 to 11. Can't tell you if it's still the same operator, franchise owner or not. This owner was aware of the adopting ordinances and asked if they can change that from 11 PM to 2:30 AM. So the first thing we did was discuss the process. They're not, the commission has authority over those changes because there is no change to the building. There is no additional parking that needs to be provided, and there is no stormwater impact in there. So the next step was talking with the chief of police to see if there was any concerns about the operating hours, because the mobile on the run operates 24 hours in there, and she had no issues with the current activities and running of the Taco Bell. So the third step in this process was to bring it to the commission in there. And there really isn't any site plan or plan changes. It's specifically about the operating hours. I will note our liquor hours, and this applies to Great Harvest. This applies to Fallon's. This applies to the Brass Tap is a 1:30 AM.
Okay. Are the police commissioner's comments in here?
You know,
Or if not, can you?
no, I didn't, and I apologize. It's a very good question, and I do have them, and they were supposed to be part of the packet.
Okay.
That was my mistake, though.
It, yay or nay, I mean, just.
No, but I think it's reasonable to take a look at that. 1 second. I thought I converted it into a PDF and I didn't. I'm gonna try to expand it, and I can go down so you can see the whole content, the whole chain.
Okay.
All right, I appreciate that. Any
And then the
other
question.
thoughts or guidance?
Not crazy about the idea.
They're asking for 2:30, and I told her incorrect.
I'm personally not a big fan of that myself, if we're kind of discussing it. I don't see the petitioner here, or is he online at all?
No, and we're having problems with the link. In there. Okay.
Good, good.
It fixed for 20 minutes.
No,
No.
well, we have it recorded though, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's good. So people can pick it up.
So I can coordinate with them to be present at the next meeting. My main question would be from the commission. I mean, there is no plans or anything. If there's something you would want me to bring, we're outside to have the conversation with the petitioner. And there you have copies of the two ordinances. But I didn't ask them for any plans or surveys or.
Do you know whether what the hours are for all of the fast food that's going on in University City, and is what their hours are? I mean, I'm
We
just
can take a
curious.
look into those.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be helpful to kind of know what's going on in the entire
Not a problem.
area. I'm personally too, like 2:30, really?
Pretty late.
That's pretty late. Who's out at 2:30? Drunk people.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean,
But-
they're hungry. So I don't, I don't know why it bothers me, but it does. So, but I'd like to know whether this is the only game in town, or at 2:30 in the morning, or if that's what fast food is going to generally.
I'd also be curious on page what that is.
Yeah.
So
Well,
they're a lot longer on page.
Yeah.
So.
So they can
I'm
go-
Not even gonna go.
What about all the other restaurants in all of that?
Like I said, 1:30 is usually the cap. On those, I
Like-
couldn't tell you Fallon's.
Sugar Fire and, you know,
Those close.
they
Those close.
close.
They run out of food.
Fallon's is open pretty late though, I
Yes,
think.
I think Fallon's goes out till 1:30 or so.
But they close their kitchen down.
It's a bar, yeah.
Yeah, then
turns
it just
into the bar.
becomes a bar. So I'm just kind of curious about food establishments that we currently have.
Is this just the drive-through that would stay open, that's not the in-dining at all?
I'd have to ask or.
Because that would be a factor.
Yeah.
I can imagine it's not the in-dining, because that makes a difference for the police probably, is a conversation, because you don't want loitering,
Right.
things like that.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, other than drunk people as the husband of a nurse, there are people who work odd hours and they're coming home
That's true.
and they, you know, are looking for places like that. So you know, if they think that they have a business case for staying up that open, that surprises me, frankly.
Yeah.
That
I don't, never seems to be anybody there.
yeah, exactly. Like during regular hours, it doesn't seem that busy, but
Could be their busy time if nobody else.
maybe. I don't know.
So we can put together kind of like a listing of
Yeah. Just, yeah,
hours east and west on Olive.
Yeah.
If I go to Page,
it's
it's a whole different story.
Yeah.
I think we
But I don't
need to
think it's
focus
comparable.
on what's going on
Yeah.
Okay.
on Olive, you know, not only in ours, but I agree
City.
with Petrie, U City, yeah.
I think we should look at what other Taco Bells though are, you know, the ones in Creve Coeur, Taco Bell and the different things that are going on in their part of it too as well.
Yeah,
Not
and
just
some of that, because I did look at, and again, there's a couple on Page. And they are like way after two
Wow.
AM. I can't recall the one there, the closest one is down at Creve Coeur and that's up by 141.
Oh, Yeah, wow.
And there, so it was like really, I mean, it's a good comparable, but
There it
to
is.
my extent, it's like too far away.
Yeah, I agree.
But they have 3 AM.
Mm. Wow. I'm surprised by that.
Me too.
But it's, you know, it's out by itself too. It's not.
No, there's
it's-
a bank there, there's a school right there, there's no residential right
Right.
at that area
Mhm.
right there. No question about it.
Yeah,
I mean, in some ways, to me, the proximity of Page is an argument against
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
it be here because you'd say, listen, it's not like it's your only
Option.
option
Oh, yeah.
nearby here.
But different owners,
true.
essentially.
What
I
about-
could tell you mine is probably more of a compromise to do it at 1:30 when the other bars
Yeah,
close down would
yeah,
be
that'd be
probably
pretty
where
good.
my head would be going with this and not give it all the way back, but give them a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, okay. I'd be curious about other Taco Bells, kind of in kind of the mid suburbs that we are. Is there one in U City? Is there one in Brentwood? There's one?
Maybe
Mhm.
maybe
Oh, yeah,
1:30
there is one in U City.
and drive through.
One in U City
Drive
on,
through, but I think I'm
Surprised
surprised
there's
only.
it's off of
They're
Skinker,
not wanting. people
north
to
of,
come in
north
either.
of Delmar.
They probably only got one person.
They're
working
one
there.
then on the
people in
loop
Luke working
area.
there. Right?
Keep going.
Because I know they have the
So,
Jack in the Box by the Chinooks.
right, if you keep going east, it's
Okay.
by that Lee's, there's a Lee's Chicken there. I think that's a Taco Bell. right
Oh,
there.
yeah, but that one's on Skinker.
That's what I said.
Okay.
Skinker. Yeah. I don't know why it's not showing up. It's just right there by the Lee's. There it is. Till 4 AM.
Oh.
Wow. Well, that's college kids.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah,
that's really,
yeah.
that's really
Late night.
college kids is what that is.
night doesn't.
I just opened up and I searched for Taco Bell on Google Maps and everyone besides one of them is open to 3 AM or even later than
They
that.
must know, and they must obviously
Yeah,
have
this
business.
is.
Maybe that's
their
their better business time.
Right.
Right.
Wow.
4 AM, 2 AM, 3 AM, 3 AM, 5 AM,
Wow.
3 AM, 3 AM, 2 AM.
Those hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
70.
All right,
Okay.
I'll talk to the petitioner and then bring him back at our next meeting.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Make sure.
I think that's great.
Thank you.
Okay. So then we'll table that and we'll move on to discussion regarding petition review process.
All right, at this point, Chairman, I'm going to ask if it's okay, given that we were a little shorthanded today and several things were going on, and Don's also working on licenses in there, that those were the primary action items. and really not set to have any further discussion on the comp plan or prepared.
Call it early night?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. I mean, we could definitely talk about it and all that, but
Rather
we
have the
didn't
full
really
commission.
revise our data.
I think that makes sense. Okay, good. So then we'll move on to analysis of current application of the tree inventory
Again.
protection.
Again,
Once again,
all
we're gonna
those, yeah.
delay that.
Mhm.
And then
Save
the
it.
comprehensive plan. So then we're on to other business. So it's meeting minutes.
Yes, and Mr. Carswell has 3 sets that have been that are in your packet. September 4th, 2025, September 18th, 2025, and October 16th, 2025. And he forwarded me November 6th after I left the office, and I didn't have time to print those out. So
Yeah,
we will have those for your next meeting. So you have 3 sets here.
fantastic. So acknowledged. Take time to skim through it. If you see anything that's an issue, send Jack an email, okay? All right, appreciate it. Okay, then we'll move on to reports. Carlos?
All right. Just a couple of things in there. You have the schedule of events. Our next meeting will be May 7th. And there, sorry for some of the older stuff. The city has Party in the Park Friday, May 8th. And there, development wise, the Paris Baguette, probably by late month or early May. In there, and then there's still like some training things that they have to go through. She's very eager to get up and going on there. The Brass Tap had a ribbon cutting last week. It seemed like all went well. Very nice facility, very open area in there. The parking, because of the construction going in, is tight, but this is a development as a whole. So Audi, the parking lot, the parking structure are all accessible or part of the parking calculation. It's been brought to my attention, Audi did put up signs, but again, those are not enforceable by us in that process, and we'll talk to them about that. We do Irvington Place Apartments, that one been complete. If you get a chance, they did a really nice landscaping on the exterior. The Great Rivers Greenway extension from Chevy's all the way up here north of here to Dillman. It looks like all the property acquisitions are complete. And there was one property that we were waiting for that went even longer than the railroads. But that is set, and I'm hoping by next year that maybe construction will start for the final path connection, and then they'll be fully completed and all of that. As we head westward, it is true, Ace Rick's Hardware is taking up the old Party City side. There's a banner there today. So we're excited about that. We are talking regarding the outlot at the Oliver, the apartment complex, about getting some improvements there to close the existing entry and move that to where you access the condominiums. And then that should help expedite getting that site developed. What happened was they restricted it to a right in, right out, and it's a difficult sell to try to get some type of commercial restaurant entity in there. Olivet Lanes looks like it is changing hands, but will continue to operate. The council approved the liquor license on Tuesday that would authorize that, and the gentleman that's acquiring it and his company, they plan to keep it. You know, they're excited about operating a bowling alley, so that's a plus for.
Are they going to
us.
upgrade it at all?
In terms of, I'm not sure if he has any internal plans. They've had discussions with Don.
Nothing that really requires a building permit, but they've got like a little room in the front, but like the back area that is going to be converted to a more of a game room. And then so there'll be video bowling and like one of those the big ones, and he was showing me some pictures on Tuesday night of the mural inside, what they want to do, which I don't really want to spoil it, but let's just say it was very neat and had a blacklight feature.
Fantastic.
And while I have Ms. Doty up there, the Economic Development Commission has announced the award winners for business, restaurant, And Commissioner's Choice, and I'll let you.
Yes, our business of the year this year is Aldi, and our restaurant of the year is Great Heart Brewing. The Commissioner's Choice Award, Plant Haven Farms.
Yay.
So, yeah.
Congratulations to the winners.
Yes, and it will be it'll be a great year. Yeah. A lot of everything was by popular vote this year.
Good.
So, yeah.
Good. Fantastic. All right. Carlos, anything more?
And now from my end, I'll let the council liaison.
Okay, Brian?
A couple of things, as Carlos mentioned, the brass tap ribbon cutting was last Friday. It was exciting to be there. We had a good city council representation and EDC, and met the owners, parents, and they talked about, even though they've had a soft opening for like a month now, they said businesses exceeded their expectations. And they don't even have the patio open yet. The patio's going to be open. They're going to put an awning. They're going to have TVs out there. Live music's starting. So it's very exciting, and every time I've been, it's got significant business going on. So quite a large beer list. So if you haven't been, it's exciting to go by. The solar panel amendment that had obviously come through the commission here and then went to city council had some revisions, had a lot of heated debate, surprisingly, but ended up passing, which is exciting because I just want to call that out here that was a goal of making it so staff could authorize those faster without having to come to Pcdc, and so I think we achieved that and still gave staff flexibility. But it's a good example of where we thought it was best laid plans, but people took issue with certain words, and so that created debate, even though the intent was there. But it's okay. We've reached a good medium.
Do you want to just quickly summarize the change?
I'd say the main change is there was concern around the term grouping and centering. Centering was the biggest concern. People like, what if you don't want it in the center? What if it's on this? And the bigger concern is you want them grouped together in a logical pattern, and you have to have the 3-foot perimeter around them for safety in case anyone needs to get on the roof. So we just kind of changed language to say they have to be grouped and you have to maintain that safety. So that was fine. And the other one was around comparable colors.
They just
Because you can buy solar panels that are like hot pink if you want. They're not as efficient. They're more expensive. But we wanted to give staff the authorization, the ability to look at something and say, so we changed the word. People didn't like that term because they felt it was too vague, even though, again, that's always been the term. But fine. So we changed it to be more about that if the colors are within the black and blue, which are the standard ones, fine. If it gets outside of that, and I think Mr. Trejo's comment was very good to say if somebody from Tennessee wanted to come and build a big orange one with a big T or something like that, staff might bring it forward then to have a conversation. So those are the two main changes, I think. But I was excited to get it through. Thinking on the conversation on Taco Bell, it's interesting. I'm not sure. I don't think the committee here knows it, but Missouri passed a law as part of the World Cup. We, as a council, have authorized liquor licenses longer during the World Cup. So you could apply to say, I want my liquor license to go, believe it or not, to like 6 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. if we wanted to allow that. We did not. But if a business said we want to keep showing World Cup games, which is weird because they're in North America, so there's not really going to be games at 4 a.m. But some people took advantage of that, some didn't. But I think 3 in all of it took advantage of it. If I'm correct, 3 businesses. So I think we authorized it till 2 a.m. I think. But that was an exception just for that. But Missouri passed this as a law
Just during the World Cup.
during the World Cup. Those 2 months, any business in Missouri could apply, and if the city allowed it, they could go. I think it was like 23 hours they could be open, or something like that, and serve liquor and beer. So, yeah. Which again, if it was in Europe, somewhere else, I'd understand better. But sure, some businesses took advantage of it. So I think we were kind of like 6 a.m. doesn't make much sense. So I think we did like 2 or as well. So. And then want to spend a moment to congratulate Mr. Jurgel on his city council win. And so this will be his last meeting, actually, because he gets sworn in on the 28th of April during a big swearing in ceremony. And very excited to have him join. And he's going to do great work there. He's obviously done amazing work here for many years and definitely knows the motions and all that. So, and since he finally learned that, he's now going to leave. But a big congratulations to him. He's not going to be far, but excited for him to be joining us, and I think he'll do great things for the city. So a big round of applause for Rob. Not everything he's done. Very excited.
Thank you very much.
So if you want to watch on the 28th, you'll see the official swearing in, and then Obviously, Maxine is stepping, is, I guess, leaving the council at that point, so there'll be a little ceremony, then we'll have a change of mayor and
Who is mayor?
commissions and all things like that.
Who's going to be mayor?
I will be.
Oh, you're going to be mayor.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Whoa. I didn't know that.
Assuming the vote goes as such and which is interesting because I didn't think we were publicly announcing it, but the current mayor, Mr. Clark at Brass Tap just brought me forward and talked to everyone about what that was going to be. And I'm like, all right, then
Wow.
I guess that's what's happening.
Oh, fine.
So that's exciting. And then commission members will change. We're going to rotate around a little bit. So this will probably be my last meeting too. But again, I think I'll fill in every now and then. So I won't leave you too far.
Good.
So
Congratulations.
that is all I had.
Good, good. Thanks for the report. Thanks for the congratulations. I appreciate it. I do want to thank everybody for, letting me, kind of lead this group and be a part of it. This has really been a special, group, honestly, of all the years and having the staff that really just makes things easy. You keep things moving, you help us out when there's tough issues going on and keep us focused. It's really impressive and it's definitely noted, how lucky we are to have you guys there and how lucky we are to have everybody here. We all get along really well. We're all very respectful. We don't always have the same opinions, Petrie. But we all listen, you know what I mean? And I think that's what it's all about is to listen kind of and kind of take, not get fixed in with a particular hardline opinion, but be listening to everybody and incorporate, some of those issues, as well. And honestly, that's what this group has. And it's it's very special. And I hope it continues, kind of under the new leadership with Sam and Petrie, you're kind of taking over. So I honestly couldn't think of anybody better who could, take this on and continue it, the way it's been done previously. And of course, you got to make it your own. So find your good sayings that you want to use. But I have no doubt you guys are all going to be very successful. And as Brian said, we're going to be rotating, around. So I will be, likely in that position, as well, at some point in time. So, and I look forward to it because I'm looking forward to see what you guys are going to do and where you're going next. But honestly, it's been a very special treat to be here and to work with all you guys. So thank you very much. And I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, likewise, Rob.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, that being said,
Last meeting before 8 o'clock. That's
exactly.
Your greatest accomplishment.
That's fair. Carlos saved the day.
Because I looked, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a long.
Okay, we're gonna adjourn at 7:48. So thanks, everybody. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Well, I'm very, very excited what's next, but sad to be leaving this group for sure. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, right. It's right. I'll get these.
Oh, yes, thank you. We do recycle everything, paper clips, all that, just throw it all